So after 3 years of waiting, Testament is finally here. They just released episode 1 on YouTube, and if you're on the Angel Guild, you can watch episodes 1 and 2, and then the next episode will come out next week. I was really impressed by these first 2 episodes. I have seen episodes 1 and 2 so far, but today we're going to be talking about episode 1, and particularly we're going to be talking about the overall idea of what Testament is. I've been talking about this show for the past 3 years as I've been excited for it, and I've tried to explain it, but I think having some visual aids and kind of going through parts of this show will really help you to have a better understanding of what to expect. So let's kind of go through this beginning section here. Number 1, who is this show made by? The show is made by Roarlight. This is the main company that that is making the show overall. I believe Paul Surstad is kind of the person behind this, who is the director and writer and creator. And then past that, it's also working with Monarch here. So Monarch Media is the other company that it's working with. Now, Paul Surstad is, you can imagine him as the Dallas Jenkins of Testament, okay? He is the writer, the creator, and the director, okay? Along with him, he has 2 other writers, just like The Chosen does, right? And these are actually part of his family, his wife, Faith, and also his brother-in-law, Kenneth. So they're brother and sister, and then he is married to Faith, so they're all family there as they're connected in this writing team. The writing is really solid so far, and it's really well done. Overall, I would say that this is probably about an 8 for me so far in the first 2 episodes of Testament, but there are moments where it gets really, really, really good, and so I'm really looking forward to the future of this. So, okay, let me go back. What is Testament? Well, if we continue on here, we can see this entry message into the show. So we see, for centuries, the Roman Imperium ruled the district of Salem. Its people in the temple had long hoped for their prophesied liberator. Yet, when a rogue preacher was suspected of being this Messiah, the temple deemed him a heretic. Now, this is the book of Acts, okay? This entire show is the book of Acts. It essentially starts in chapter 2 with the beginning of Pentecost, okay? So it kind of skips the part where Jesus is ascending and he's giving them his last words, and it starts directly at Pentecost, okay? That is this show. But it's not set like The Chosen is as a historical drama. This is set more like a UK drama in a lot of ways. It's a modernized version of this story as if it were taking place in a future Jerusalem, a modernized Jerusalem, I should say, but telling the exact same story with the exact same nuances, with the exact same Easter eggs that you would find in The Chosen. If you can get past the fact that it's a modern show for some of you, I think this will help you to understand the show in greater detail and really help you to have a really great grasp of the book of Acts, because there's actually a lot of really intricate and accurate pieces that are still within here. These people are not, for example, British people, but they are Jewish people. They just happen to have a British accent because it's a UK drama. That's the kind of genre that it is, right? So in this sentence, you can see that here. For centuries, the Roman Imperium, there's nothing really called the Roman Imperium. It's just the Roman Empire, right? And so we see here the Roman Empire is called the Roman Imperium. So anytime they're talking about the Imperium, they're talking about the Romans. Imagine that in the time of Jesus, right? Then we see it ruled the district of Salem. This is just a shortened version of Jerusalem, right? So Jerusalem equals Salem. So there's a little bit of deciphering that needs to be done, which is why we love the show, because we are super sleuths, right? And it makes it a lot of fun for us to see these Easter eggs and to find out these little snippets that are kind of going on. It's really, really, really good. And so throughout this, you can see there's a rogue preacher. This, of course, is Jesus. They suspected him of being the Messiah. The temple deemed him a heretic. That's exactly what Jesus did here. Now, if we continue on, we see a little bit more of this opening remarks here. He was killed, buried, and his followers fled. Weeks passed, and whispers circulated that the crucified man had been seen, and his followers returned to Salem. And so we see that there. Now, as we continue on, we see, and then the morning of Shavuot, commonly known as Pentecost. And again, this is where the story kind of begins. Shavuot is the religious kind of holiday. We call it Pentecost. They called it Pentecost too. It had a couple of different names there, but that's how they're talking about it here. Something new began. And that's where we open up. Now, let me go through a couple of the things that we're looking at here in terms of the show to give you an idea of what it looks like and what it feels like. One of our main characters here who we're meeting for the first time is Stephen. And of course, we'll get into Stephen and the understanding of who he is, why he's important, and kind of building that up here. We see him as he's celebrating Shavuot with his mother, Esther, who again, we will get to as well a little bit later on. But we see here, this is the beginning of Pentecost. And so we're going to go through this whole scene. Don't worry. I'm just showing you a little bit of what the show looks like and what it feels like here. We're going to get some new characters. For example, characters that we wouldn't have gotten in The Chosen that we're not going to get yet until the Acts show that Dallas wants to do down the line, right? We've got Stephen. We've got Philip. But this Philip is not one of the apostles, and we'll go over that later. We have the apostles and the 12, including Matthias probably. We haven't actually been introduced to him, I don't believe, but he'll obviously be a part of this because previously to this, he was appointed as the newest kind of 12th apostle there after Judas. We see the opening title sequence a lot of people loved here. We're getting some different aspects of these different groups. So this, for example, is Gamaliel. This is Saul/Paul's teacher. Okay, Saul of Tarsus, who is part of this show, comes in right here. And we see Saul here. I'll kind of turn off the sound so we can see. This is Saul. And so we're going to see Saul as he not only becomes the person who we know in scripture, but he's also going to become part of the Sanhedrin. Now, in this show, the Sanhedrin is not called the Sanhedrin, but they're called the ministers. And so the ministers is this group of people who are, made up of ministers, basically Pharisees, who are the Sanhedrin. They are the group of 72 judges. But in this show, they're called something a little bit different, right? There's some deciphering that is done there. Even in the costuming here, we're going to talk about this quite a bit in the show, I bet. You can see that he has this green lacing that is all over his outfit here. This identifies Gamaliel as a Pharisee, not a Sadducee. Okay. Later on, we're going to see more ministers in this section here. And you can see, for example, this is Caiaphas. And Caiaphas has a purple or burgundy kind of outline on his clothing. This identifies him as a Sadducee, as one of the elite. Okay. He is, of course, the high priest, but he's also a Sadducee. And so that connects him there. So we're seeing a lot of different people there. Now, here I mentioned this is Esther. This is Stephen's mother, a fictional character, but a very cool character, especially within this episode. I think she does a really great job. And here we're seeing more of the apostles preaching and doing different things like that. This is near the pool of Siloam, which I kind of love because it's just like it's a pool. Well, let me see if I can get there real fast. Right here. So the pool of Siloam is literally a pool, which I love. They call it the Siloam pools. So this is, again, it's deciphering kind of what they're talking about here. Again, if you want to watch it, the link is in my description down below. You can watch it there. It's up on YouTube right now for 24 hours, but you can use my link to watch it on Angel if you'd like. And you can do it over there. Now here, let me go forward a little bit. I want to go towards the end of the episode to show you a little bit of the apostles here. We've got Stephen there. Let me see. We've got right here is Peter, as we talked about before. And we're not introduced to that many of the apostles quite yet, but this is kind of the main one we're introduced to here is Peter. So I'll kind of leave you there with that. But here's Paul. I just wanted to show you him as well. He, like I said, is the writer, the creator, and the director of this show. I think Paul has done a really amazing job. Listen, I don't talk about shows unless they are actually good. And so Testament is one of these shows I've been waiting for a long time, and I was really hoping that it would be good. But after watching these first 2 episodes, they did a really solid job. The biblical parts of it are really, really solid. The extra parts of it that are kind of added in, we'll see how those turn out over time, but they feel really good so far, and it feels like they have purpose. For the most part, everything that's in this first episode especially is pointing towards biblical things that are to come, or leaving you Easter eggs and breadcrumbs for those things that are coming in the future in terms of those biblical things. So it's really, really interesting to me. For me personally, this is a show that is right down my alley. I'm a huge fan of UK dramas. I'm also a huge fan of the Bible and Easter eggs and finding things, being able to explain things like this. And so I'm really looking forward to Testament as a show within itself. So there is some deciphering that needs to be done. fun, but this is a show about the book of Acts that is going to be really accurate, and it's going to actually show us a lot of new things and enable us to learn a lot of new things about the book of Acts, which is really, really cool. I just love it so much. We had a great time watching the first 2 episodes. I really encourage you to watch this first episode. The link is in my description down below. And of course, I want you to check out all of our stuff, right? If you're interested in The Chosen, please watch those deep dives. If you're interested in Testament, please watch these deep dives. It's going to be a ton of fun. And there's going to be no lack of videos on this channel. I promise you that. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you check out Testament. Peace.